How does a man, terrified of losing himself,
Are you joking?
end up trading his life for a relationship?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Together is a horror romance that really makes you understand and question the danger of relationships in their tough periods. And this, you'll be shocked, you'll be scared. But most disturbing of it all, you might go, wait, am I doing that? Tim and Millie have been together for 10 years and they are ready for the next phase. Well, Millie is. Tim is having a little stroke. The man just changed clothes because they were accidentally matchy-matchy, and now she's asking him for a forever. Let's stop with the merging, shall we? It's safe to say that Tim has a little phobia of becoming one. His friends are not making the situation any better.
Thought you might make her cooler. Instead, she's just made you.
Hey, fuck you, man.
And that's a real problem, personal and professional. Being cool is the basis of being a musician. Though Tim is struggling with even being the musician part. One of these days. And to make matters worse, Millie just got her dream job on the countryside. And because she's the only one who's making ka-ching, she's the one who calls the shots. And Tim needs to follow.
Shit.
And we could even say that Millie going down on one knee to propose to him in front of all of his friends was another hit at his independency, let's say, or how Millie is taking over.
Are you joking?
So this makes him push Millie away, and he wants to create even more distance between who is he as a person and who is she as a person.
When I die, I don't want someone else's life flashing before my eyes.
On the other hand, Millie's friend doesn't really understand why is Millie still entertaining Tim. The happy couple has clearly not been happy for quite some time. And as much as she is encouraged to ditch the drought and, pursue a bit more active cowboy, Millie is sticking by her man and their relationship. Though she does feel a little bit awkward with that mini stroke Tim had when she proposed.
Yes, of course.
And the fact that he's been so distant lately. She starts to think that maybe she's in denial. Maybe both of them are in denial.
If we love each other or if we're just used to each other.
Hey, I love you. I love you.
Tim might be experiencing a second mini stroke. It was just a little glitch he had. Let's not make any drastic decisions that will make the man homeless, okay? Now, we always kind of roll our eyes when we see someone who is struggling with commitment, but then when they actually have the opportunity to now be alone and independent, and they're like, no, I'm sorry, let's not break up. You're like, sit down. When there is an actual threat of Millie walking away because she would recognize that he's not the best partner, he then overcompensates.
Hey, I love you. I love you.
Because maybe as much as Tim is afraid of being dependent, he doesn't really know how to be any other way. They go to bed, and in the middle of the night, Tim wakes up because he hears Millie talking. Everyone knows that you need me more than I need you.
We laugh about it.
He turns around, trying to figure out, is she talking to him?
Resenting me doesn't make you less of a failure.
Tim is confused. Why the F is she saying this? Rude! Can he ask them to leave? Tim is looking around. Who is she talking about? And there on the other side, she's smiling at him. It's his mother. He wakes up. It was just a nightmare. For Tim. For me, I got to see what my nightmare is going to be that night. A smiling lady across the room staring at me. Sure, I'll sleep like a baby. But you know what they say when it comes to nightmares and dreams? They tell something about you. And what it shows us is Tim's struggle with shame. The first one is when she says, you need me more than I need you, which is this fear of being dependent. The second thing is mentioning other people and how they laugh about it, right? Which hints at his fear of public humiliation. And then there is this feeling of resentment that he might have towards Millie and her life. Now, in the morning when Tim wakes up, the first thing he does is ask Millie if she thinks he resents her. Almost like saying, do you think I'm a bad partner? If he would have to acknowledge the resentment on his own, he would also have to take some action. But when he puts that question to her, he also kind of delegates that responsibility. And if she doesn't notice that something is wrong, then why would I acknowledge it? Millie is a bit surprised because where is this coming from? But no, she doesn't. Should she be? Yeah, I'm just being dumb to think that way, right? He picks her up, carries her into the house, like the cute couple they are. Tim and Millie decide to go for a little hike in the woods. You have to take advantage of that countryside. And boom, it starts raining and the two lovebirds are lost. But not to worry. Today's smartphones, they have compass.
What do we do with that? I don't know.
Yes, Tim is clueless and same biz, same. I was actually a scout as a kid, and the only thing that I learned is how to flag an SOS code, which kind of doesn't make sense if you don't have anyone to flag it to, right? It was fun times though. I also learned how to hold the main stick when you're like building the old school tents, the one in the middle, while other people are running around and fixing the tent, which will always come handy as long as I have 3 other people that will do the rest. They're freaking out, looking around, and poof, Tim is gone. He got swallowed by the earth, aka he fell into a hole. And as Millie is trying to pull out her man, they both fall a couple of meters down into this underground cave. And despite this being quite a fall, they are both okay. Well, a part of Tim's phone and his freaking demos on it. Millie is looking at her forever one and she is trying to keep it cool.
I'm fine, by the way.
Maybe Tim is a little prick who doesn't appreciate his partner. Maybe he's used to Millie always being okay. Or simply, unlike his demos, Millie is not at risk to lose. You know what they say about the first signs of trouble in paradise? Being taken for granted. They're looking around and they don't really know what is this cave they've fallen into. But as much as Millie is like ready to go out, it's storm outside. And they have no idea where they are. So it's best to just sit put and wait for it to get better until they can go out to the freedom again. Clearly, Millie and Tim do not watch Deadly Adventures because what do you mean? You fall into the cave while there's a huge storm outside and you're just gonna wait in that cave? Tim lights up his lighter and now the cave is starting to look a little bit more familiar. There's a church bell, there is church pews, and to make things worse, Tim now decides to break one of the woody, churchy-looking things because suddenly the man decided that he's going to be a survival expert building a fire. Sure, Timmy. Why wouldn't we start destroying the property of potential underground worshippers? But the anxiety I was feeling in those 3 minutes of them being in that cave was nothing compared to what Tim was about to do next. The man got a little thirsty, and because they didn't have enough water for the two of them, and he was graciously giving it to Millie, which, a plus point, let's not dismiss that, he decides to drink from a mysterious pond inside the cave. And look, I know what you're thinking. Hey, Tim is doing what we've done many years ago. It's how our species survived, using the nature's resources. But maybe, just maybe, even though you're one with the nature, try avoid drinking water from a still pond in an underground cave. You might just start becoming one with the bacteria that destroys the species. Apart from all the small strokes I was getting watching their survival skills in this cave, we also get to see the dynamics between the two lovebirds. While Tim is someone who tries to step up and help them survive with building the fire, Millie has zero trust in her man.
Yeah, you fucking don't.
Sure, he'll set up a fire because he watched Man vs. Wild one time. Let's calm down, shall we? Of course, you can understand where is she coming from. If she's the only one who is adulting in the relationship, then it's probably a little bit harder to have faith that the other person will ever do anything that will help both of you. But at the same time, she feeds into Tim feeling incompetent. When we have a strong belief about something or someone or even ourselves, we will find a way to prove that that belief is the right thing. A couple of hours pass, and the two of them are now sitting by the fire. We're not sure who built it, but I guess Tim. And they are also sharing a little bit of alcohol and some secrets that they kept from each other. One of them was how they both started smoking right before the move. Hiding something from another person, in that case, your partner, and also hiding a thing that is, bad, right, shows that they are not really comfortable with sharing with one another the tough part, the bad part. They prefer upholding a certain image. And this, that is never good. Every time you try to be something better in the relationship than what you actually are or what you're actually going through, you're taking away the opportunity to build the partnership. Now, this little time by the fire makes Tim reveal another secret, something that he hasn't shared ever with Millie, and yet impacted his life profoundly. You see, the day before, Tim noticed a certain smell in the new house. He found out that there is a nest of rats that were basically cooking on the top of the lamp. And that's something that he experienced as a kid.
So gradual that I couldn't even tell that I was breathing in this rotting carcass every night.
But it was nothing compared to this other one. A similar one, but a bit thicker, a bit different, almost like a taste in his mouth. And it was coming from his parents' bedroom. When he opened the door, his mom was sitting there, looking at him, smiling.
She had woke to find her other half was gone and her brain just snapped.
And she continued to live her life, sleep next to him as though nothing has happened.
It's like me with the rat, just breathing him in like fresh air.
Now, to me, this is a clear metaphor for the impact of destructive relationships. You lose your sense of happiness. You are more stressed. You are anxious most of the time. You start being careful in the relationship. You're hiding things. But then you say that it's just a period. It's just tough times. When the problem keeps on, let's say, eating you away, but you stopped treating it as a problem. His mom lost it or lost herself the second his dad passed away, which made Tim even more afraid of this dependency, which is probably what he is kind of experiencing with Millie. You gotta confirm that belief, right? Dependency is dangerous, so let me be dependent and let me feel like my life is slipping away. It's the morning, and it's time for the two of them to skedoodle out of this cave. The problem is they are stuck together. Ew! Millie's and Tim's legs are stuck with some kind of weird sticky substance. It hurts when they try to pull it apart, but there's no time for wissy-wissy. Tim pulls the leg apart and finally, they are safe. They climb out of the cave, and the relief they are feeling of being stuck together forever is good. Tim is feeling a little bit weirdish. Maybe that water from the cave is not doing him well. And when she decides to go to the town to buy some food, Tim, under shower, loses his ability of controlling his body. Turn left, the body slams to the left, his body moving in the same direction as Millie's car. But it's time to visit the doctor, and as much as Tim is worried about his health, it also doesn't feel the best that the doctor is his age and, saving lives, while Tim is still looking for his demos. Always count on society to let you know how good are you doing this thing called life. When it comes to him losing control over his body, the way Millie is moving, of course, there is this sense of, wow, mysterious things are happening after he drank water from a still pond. And yes, expected. We could also see it as a metaphor for the loss of making logical decisions when you get codependent in a relationship. When you're making decisions that you know are not the best, but it's almost like you don't know any other way. The doctor also inforced him that Tim should be appreciative of the luck that he has in his life. Not long ago, 2 lovebirds were walking down the trail and, well, they're missing. Tim gets home and it's time for a little investigation.
Nature is what home feels like.
That's what you have as your last post.
Cool, great life.
He does not want to go down in pathetic way like that. By the way, what is his last Facebook post? It's actually a cute picture of the 2 of them in front of the new house.
It's so fucking basic.
Tim can't believe it. Why would Millie tag him like that? Clearly, Tim does not really see worth or value in basic stuff. Relationship even. For him, a life worth living is a life of being someone, of leaving a mark. People, the allure of fame is strong. Knock knock. Is their neighbor Jamie, and also Millie's colleague, another teacher from the local school. They tell him about their adventure in the woods, and Tim explains how weird it was, that has to be some strange religious culty shit. And honestly, according to Jamie, there actually was a chapel right there on that trail.
Mass suicide. No.
He's just joking, right? Right? Tim is looking at Millie. He's looking at Jamie, and it's clear. He's the butt of the joke again, huh? Not quite. You see, the dinner that they've been enjoying and is delicioso is actually made by Tim. He's so good at it that Millie never came around to learning how to cook herself.
Well, it's my fault. So if it weren't for me, you'd know how to cook?
Well, Timmy, it's a mutual partnership, and Millie reminds him of that.
And if it weren't for me, you wouldn't be the only 30-something without a driver's license.
Oh. Are you trying to belittle me even more in front of this stranger?
It's a good deal, you know? She gets a personal cook and I'm trapped here.
Millie is now shooketh. Trapped? Well, what does she call the fact that he can't even go to the train station if it doesn't fit her schedule?
Nobody's holding you hostage, Tim.
And no, hostages don't have to cook their own food.
People, what's a dinner with couples if at one point they're not gonna get at each other and make you feel awkward? It's by the brand. Jamie, though, he likes to see things from a bright side.
Well, it sounds to me like you complete each other.
And Bis, I'm not gonna pretend I wasn't looking at this situation and I was like, But when Jamie slammed with that, you complete each other, I was like, wait, do they? What if that's the whole problem of relationships? When instead of recognizing that you have differences, but luckily the other person just completes those differences, we start to feel resentful of it. We keep score of who does and doesn't do more. It is good to recognize if one person is doing more than the other one, but instead of going into keeping score, Tim could say, hey, this makes me feel like I'm being used. And maybe that would even lead to him understanding or recognizing how he is being unfair. Doesn't Millie contribute to the fact that he can even pursue his dream and not think about finances? We mentioned that Tim is afraid of being dependent. And now we can pair it with recognizing that how his decisions in life are actually keeping him dependent. He can get an extra job, a side job by his music career to make money, to make him feel independent. He could get himself a driving license, so he is not dependent on Millie transporting him. But if he does that, then he can't blame someone else if his life is not going the way he wants it to go. Now, here's the thing. It's not like Tim is not doing anything regarding independency.
We need a guitarist for the tour.
I'll do it.
The problem is that it's a couple hours away from where they live, and again, Tim doesn't have a driving license, so he is basically dependent on Millie or a train ride. Choosing to join a band that is kind of unrealistic makes him feel like he is doing something for himself. And he can ignore that in reality, he's not doing anything for his independence, getting a job or a driving license. It's time for Jamie to leave. And as Tim and Millie are left alone, Tim starts to feel a little jealous
What?
Nah, I think he likes you.
as he stands there looking at his woman. Something takes over him and he just starts kissing her passionately until
Ow! Did you just bite me?
Tim is confused. He doesn't even realize what's happening right now. And no, he did not bite her. Their lips stuck together.
God, if you don't want to fuck me, Tim, just say it.
And as much as the movie is creating this woo-woo kind of thing, right? This is the water he drank and the mysterious cave. This could be a metaphor for the almost like psychological pull to the other person that has nothing to do with love, but more so with the fear of losing them. His nervous system is now adapted to the relationship. Whatever his decisions are, whatever his move is, depends on preserving the relationship. When it comes to the stickiness and Millie feeling hurt after that kiss, this could also be an indication how Tim's approach to this relationship, driven by, fear of independence, fear of being alone, rather than actual love and partnership, is hurting them, is also hurting Millie and basically their relationship. It's time to go back to the city to have rehearsals with the band. Honestly, he looks like someone who needs some tea and biscuits, a little blanket, tuck himself in, have some rest.
If you're sick, you should stay home.
But he cannot do it because his independence and his dreams are at risk.
You're gonna be great.
And you know what? Don't worry about coming home tonight. Is Millie mad at him? No. Millie just meant to, have fun with the guys.
Escape. Be free.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Thanks.
Huh? Millie, sweetie, I was looking at this situation. I was like, you're taking this too well. People, can you imagine? You're kind of like saying to your partner, yeah, escape, be free. And they're like, okay, yes, thank you. You're not obligated to be with me. That's the vibe Tim is giving me. He is miserable, unhappy, but also he does not want to take any decision for himself. None of decisions that would actually make him feel better, make him feel happier, make him honestly be a better partner in the relationship. It's easier to pretend like your life is being controlled by someone else, because when it doesn't go your way, then you can also blame someone else and not acknowledge your own shortcomings.
I loved him, but he is a 35-year-old white guy who still thinks he's going to be a rock star.
He's a good guy. I always think about our first date. I said my favorite band was the Spice Girls. He shows up on our second date with Spice on vinyl. That is sweet.
That person is still there. It's just, tough times. Again, normalization of something that shouldn't be normalized. And her friend calls her out on it. When was the last time Tim did anything like that? And that's a question a lot of couples face, right? When do you recognize that things are just not working because the other person is not making it work or not putting any effort in it? And when is it just a bump on the road that you're gonna overcome? They say goodbye. Tim waits on the station, but as Millie is driving away, we see Tim experiencing another freaking panic attack. The train comes and the train passes, but Tim could not board. It's like he's losing control over his body all over again. He stands up and he's walking like a zombie towards freaking Millie's school. Tim has an opportunity to be independent, but he gets a panic attack because that doesn't feel comfortable. He's terrified of being independent and testing if he is capable. So he looks for a quick fix, meaning he self-sabotages to go back to Millie. But because he goes back to Millie, he reinforces this feeling that he is not able to do anything on his own.
I needed to see you. It's like I'm thirsty all over.
They go to the kids' toilet stall places room, and finally, after months of drought, they consummate their relationship again. The ecstasy of being together comes both of them. It also could be a metaphor for this sense of relief after the panic of your biggest fears being triggered, which then results into the reality check of how damaging this is. Because this, they stuck. Millie is freaking out. It starts to settle in how wrong and reckless this is. They are literally at school, and as much as she's trying to be compassionate with them, it's time to pull.
I'm sorry.
So it's again a metaphor of how dangerous are these quick reliefs, these grand gestures that don't actually address the real problem of a relationship.
Everything okay, Miss Wilson? You might want to watch.
And sure, it's been a close call, but Millie is furious at Tim. They get back to the house and she has had it. What the F is he doing? Is he trying to sabotage her job? She could have been arrested. Now we're all looking at Millie and we're like, Millie, sweetie, it takes two to tango, right?
I didn't make you do anything.
Which according to Millie is totally unfair, because what is a girl supposed to do where she has been craving for the two of them to be together, where they haven't been intimate, and he finally comes to her with all this I need you shit, and what? She can resist?
Yeah, you kind of did.
Honestly, this whole relationship, she has had it. She has been waiting on the sidelines for his impossible dreams to one day come true. And Tim is like, whoa. He's not gonna apologize for taking a risk in his life, for taking a risk on his dreams.
And I never can because you used all the risk up.
Which could even hint at how his lack of independency now threatens her. Directly is with her job, as I said, but indirectly is with her needing to be the adult one. Someone needs to put food on the table. While Tim is looking at Millie and he sees someone who trapped him, Millie is looking back at Tim and seeing someone who ruined her life, her chance of having a different life. And this happens in relationship where the dynamic is I serve you so you can become someone, rather than we support each other so we both thrive. Tim cannot believe what he is hearing. What do you mean? I moved here for you. He left his whole life behind. Boy, what life? What life has he left behind? That's what Millie wants to know. His music? So why the F is he not at the rehearsals? Huh? Why is he here?
My brain and my body aren't talking. You don't understand.
In the movie, it's about him being possessed type of thing. But on the other hand, we could also see it as, again, the lack of accountability. I can't do it because there's something that, that's preventing me from it. But never actually acknowledging what is that something? What do you actually need to work on? And at the same time, it gives us, again, this hint of how our beliefs are actually driving our actions. If you genuinely deep down believe that you are incapable of something, you will find ways of not being able to do that thing. Having a bad relationship, but keep on staying because deep down you truly believe that you don't deserve better.
Do you want me to come?
What do you want, Tim?
She is done making decisions for him. She is not his effing mother, even though she's starting to feel that way. Tim is like, what is that supposed to mean? And Millie, well, Millie cuts deep.
Like I'm living with something that's dead.
And that was dark. Using his trauma against him, best. And when Millie goes to Jamie to apologize about what happened at school, he offers her a glass of water and a listening ear. Millie shares that things have been rough. She doesn't know if it's since the move or maybe they're just scared to admit that they're not on the same page for some time now.
Maybe we're just complacent.
Jamie sticks to his brand. He looks at things from the bright side.
Complacency can sometimes simply be harmony.
Jamie, is it though? There is a little difference, right? Being complacent is almost like settling, accepting the bad and just normalizing it even. Harmony feels that you both feel good and you are in harmony. you're both benefiting from it.
Plato wrote that the ancient Greeks believed we were created with 4 arms, 4 legs, and
Yes, Bis, Jamie be talking soulmates. Jamie be talking twin flames. And any other perfect reason to stay in problematic relationships because, destiny. And if Millie thinks she found hers, she shouldn't be so quick to let it go. There were actually 2 of them when he bought this house, and they were kind of the same age as Tim and Millie are, and probably have the same problems. Jamie walked away.
it was liberating.
He could do whatever he wanted to. But then he also became very miserable. He didn't know how to live on his own, and he even started to miss all the fights the 2 of them had, until he finally realized that for better or worse,
I was me because of him.
Jamie, do you feel miserable on your own because of love and that pool and you should actually be together? Or is it simply because you don't trust that you know how to live for yourself? If you are scared of living life on your own or not knowing how to do that, then you're going to find a reason why you should be with that person. Why you should return despite the problems. Because it's destiny. Because you belong together. To me, Jamie is that friend that means well, that maybe even be a voice of reason. Acknowledge that maybe being 10 years together has ups and downs that are normal and doesn't mean, we should just separate. But it can also be a voice of deceit. The hope that never dies but should. Jamie wants to show his wedding tape to Millie, but she spots a stalker outside. It's Tim hiding in the bushes and looking in the house.
Sorry, okay, I didn't know where else to go.
And while Tim touches Millie's hands, she locks her fingers together with him. Maybe that water she drank at Jamie's had something to do with it. What it does show us is this typical example of be grateful for what you have. I'm walking back to my partner, I'm hugging them, I'm kissing them, I'm signing the contract. Which is another action out of fear of being alone at the end of the day or making a mistake. It's late at night, and while Millie is sleeping, Tim is in his feels.
I wish I could be what either of us wants me to be.
So he sits down and he goes for another hit. He starts digging into the missing couple. He's analyzing the picture that they posted, and what is that? The same freaking bell he saw in the cave? There's a bang at the door. It's Millie. She's standing on the other side and she's trying to get in. Tim is looking at the door, and as he is moving, he sees Millie moving in the same way. He opens the door. Millie falls onto him, shaking uncontrollably, and he slaps her.
What are you doing?
Tim is looking at her like, "Bis, don't even." They sit by the table, and Tim is trying to make Millie realize that something is up. It's something regarding that cave he saw on the picture of the missing couple. And also, does she remember how they stuck together? Millie is looking at Tim like, yes, Timmy, you told me it was mildew. Bis, since when does Tim know what the fuck mildew even is? But as much as Tim is trying to convince Millie that something is really sus, Millie is going with the realistic approach. It's the stress. She gets up, she tries to walk out, and she stops. Millie, are you now gonna believe it? Tim wanted her to stop. That's why she stopped.
Babe, something inside us has imprinted on each other.
He can feel what she feels. He's drawn to it. It's time for some action. He is gonna go back to the cave. Millie turns around. She looks at Tim. Yeah, Timmy, you know how on Sunday my parents are coming for lunch? Maybe it's best if you're not here.
What does that mean?
I don't want you. I don't want you.
They go into separate rooms, and Tim wakes up in the middle of the night because he is moving. He is sliding on the floor towards Millie's room. He is trying to do whatever he can to block it. But when the door opened on the other side and Millie is freakishly approaching also him, he knows that they are in for a pickle. Fucked up much? Their bodies are being pulled towards one another until they finally touch each other. And it is the best relief they can ever feel. But then they feel a little cracking, a little merging. Their hands are being merged together into one. And now it hurts. Now it is the pain they have never experienced. The only thing on Millie's mind is freaking that. But Tim is trying to encourage his missus to just resist it. They can do it. And he remembers that they should take that medicine, that pills, a muscle relaxant, because it's gonna, detach the brain from the body somehow, or whatever the smart doctor said, and that actually helps them. Millie reaches to the drawer, she gets the pills. The fastest way to get the hit is to snort it. So they do it, and they are pushing away from each other, trying to separate their hands until they just black out. Tim wakes up, he looks around, he notices that he's being tape-tied on the chair. Millie is sitting on him, and she is about to go to town.
It's gonna be okay.
Because their arms be stuck together. And Millie is on a mission. She's gonna cut it through, and then she's gonna run to get the first aid, and she's gonna stitch them up. And honestly, it works. It's a movie, people. Let's calm down. The pills that they took to stop the merging clearly helped, but at the same time, they're out of it. And Millie is not gonna sit and wait. She is ready to go to the doctor, and as much as Tim is like, Millie, please listen to me. This is just a Band-Aid, and we are not resolving the real problem. And we are like, way to go, Tim. Finally realized what's the problem with your relationship. It's time for Millie to take back the decision-making power.
I just saw it through our fucking arms. We are going to the hospital.
Okay.
Damn it. She forgot the keys at Jamie's. So, she needs to go get them. And she invites Tim to come with her. But Tim is just gonna take it easy a little bit. He feels a little bit dizzy. The second Millie is out of sight, Tim sprints back to the cave. He is after the real freaking solution. Tim is going to the cave to journal, to figure himself out. Where is this fear of dependency coming from? Why am I not making decisions that strengthen my independence? Why am I self-sabotaging? Well, he said he's going to find the real solution. Millie gets to Jamie's house and the door is open. She walks in, she starts looking for the keys, she can't find them, and then she hears a wedding tape of Jamie's wedding. It's in a hallway, and yes, it is weird. She starts approaching it and she can't believe what she sees. It's the church. At the same time, Tim is in the cave and he is looking around with his flashlight. Are those faces of people? What's there on top? It's the freaking two-faced, four-legged, four-arms first human species?
Well, if Plato says so.
Millie is looking at the tape. The two men have said yes to one another. They're being taken down to the freaking mysterious pod. Tim is still in the cave. He's looking around and suddenly something grabs his leg. He falls down and what in the freaking it is? The missing couple. What's left of them, at least. Because they are looking a little bit monsterish. It looks like they've been merging together. Millie is still at the house and now she is freaking out because what the F is she watching? The two men are being put in this pond and then they start to merge together.
The happiest day of our life.
Surprise! Jamie was sitting in the back all the time. And Jamie is excited. He is excited for what awaits Millie and Tim. The beginning of something wonderful. This is the greatest gift.
Such lucky few are we who become whole.
Isn't that what we are all after? Finding that other half? Millie is not being inspired by the speech and she wants to get out of there. But Jamie stops her because he sees the truth. Shh. Millie, you want this. The connection is deeper than anything you've ever imagined. No more walls, shared fears, shared desires, shared memories. At this point, Millie is begging him to stop talking. She can't even listen to this nonsense. But the thing is that it has already started.
You wouldn't like the alternative.
Because Bess, the alternative, is in the cave with Mr. Timmy. You know the missing couple? Now the merging monster? What Timmy noticed is that there's a knife in the neck of the man of the couple, while the woman is actually still alive and begging Tim for help. If you put the two and two together, it seems that the two of them resisted the merge. At least one of them. I don't know who put that knife in, but it didn't work. Jamie is now taking Millie's hand. If they're open, it's gonna be faster. And he makes a quick cut on her arm. Millie pulls back, she punches Jamie, and she is out the house. A little side note, when she punches Jamie, his perfect face of the merging two people together seems to deform again. It's like the mask has fallen, and maybe also the hint at how wanting to be one and being totally merged together is something that might look good and fulfilling on the surface, you know, the ultimate joy, finding your soulmate. But if you need to lose a part of yourself to get that, then how beautiful it actually is. Tim has managed to escape the cave, Millie has managed to escape the house, and they are running towards each other. But they stop. They are about to get merged like all the monsters around them, and it is not something they want. But surprise, surprise, they don't actually have a say because the bodies are just acting on their own, being pulled towards one another. Tim is trying to resist it, holding the lampstand. Millie is trying to grab the bench, but it's no use. Tim stops resisting.
There's only one way to end this.
It's something that he should have done a long time ago. He drops on one knee and he proposes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He used to worry he wouldn't know who he is without her, but the truth is, he knows exactly who he was. He remembers. Before Millie, he was miserable, unhappy, cold, chasing adolescent dream, thinking he is owed a different life. But the reality is, his dream already came true. His dream was Millie.
I fucking suck and I love you so much.
Millie can't believe what she is hearing. It's what she wanted to hear for so long.
I love you so much.
He asks her to close her eyes because he needs to do something and he does not want her to see him like this, but it's the only way. He has the knife that he got from the monster couple in the cave and he needs to do it. Millie now is freaking out. She is trying to calm him down. It will be okay. He doesn't have to do this. And as Tim looks down, he sees that there is a trail of blood going from Millie towards him. Millie collapses and Tim grabs her in the dramatic Hollywood position lovers scene. Millie is looking at Tim as she is about to pass and tells him he needs to run.
You gotta be free.
Millie, sweetie, you do not understand.
I'll never be free from you.
Wow. Soulmates. He sits in the kitchen.
It's the only way to stop the bleeding.
Tim saved her by merging their arms together, and now they finally get it. He finds that Spice Girls vinyl and he puts it on.
You remember that?
They're ready now to become one.
Are you sure you want this?
I do.
And that last Facebook post on Tim's page, the two of them standing in front of the new house, it's the last time the two of them existed. You see, on Sunday, when Millie's parents finally arrive for that lunch, it's Tilly who opens the door.
Hey.
Bess. So with this ending, we get a question. Was this movie about two people who were afraid of commitment, at least one of them, resisting it until they finally realize that partnership and being together is the ultimate fulfillment. You might think that you want to be successful and individual and pursue all your dreams, but what does it matter if you have no one to share it with? Maybe the message is, don't be afraid of being one. Or is this a cautionary tale of how we use relationships to justify never feeling good enough on our own? What if the horrifying reality of most relationship is that we lean into it not because of love, but from simple need to survive? Did Tim finally realize that the most important thing is relationship and Millie is his dream? Or did he use that because it was the only thing left for him to feel like his life was worth living? Are you building your relationships because of love or because of fear? And yes, you're welcome for all the journaling prompts I just served you.